All right, everybody, I am super excited to talk about this guitar today. Per my usual review style on guitars, I'm not going to do any playing. If you want to hear this guitar, check out Henning's channel. I'll list it below. He plays all 42 of these initial first run of his signature guitars. And it sounds phenomenal. It feels great, but there's no way for me to actually convey that through a shitty YouTube video. So I'm just going to talk about it. I got this about 2 days ago. I haven't really had a chance to put it through its paces, but if it's anything like my other Harley Benton guitar, it's absolutely here to stay. It's solidly built. They didn't cut any corners on fit, finish, anything like that. I'm very, very impressed. So let's talk a little bit about the let's talk a little bit about the guitar itself. So he had a video a while back where he had you email him, and you got put into the raffle to get drawn to possibly win the chance to buy one of the first 42 signature guitars. And I won. I was super stoked. It was cool to hear him pronounce my name correctly. So if you ever go back and watch that video, and I'll link it below, I am number 19. It's an absolutely phenomenal guitar. I'll go over the specs here in a second, but he's been working with Thomann and Harley Benton to get this out for quite some time now. So the specs, as listed in my receipt email, comes with one Harley Benton HP-42 signature LTD TT. So that's a limited run of the TT, which is the transparent turquoise. So yeah, limited run of only 42 pieces. Now I spoke with him, and he's going to actually have, this is actually going to go into production, but not just like this. I didn't inquire further as to what the changes are going to be. I'm sure he's a busy dude and didn't really want to sit there and hash out the details with some rando on the internet. So comes with a mahogany body and AAA flamed maple top, matched headstock. Let's get into that just for a second here. So it said AAA flame maple top. It's really just a veneer. Not a big deal because it looks very nice and it sounds great. So I'm not too worried about any sort of, like, I don't know, snappiness or whatever people think that an actual flame maple top adds to the guitar tone or whatever. But it looks nice, and that's all I care about. It's got great chatoyancy as you move it back and forth. I got a really nice specimen, and you can see in some of these photos here. It looks great, especially as you turn it back and forth. It's just random enough to look nice, but still very consistent as far as the flame goes. So, okay, so let's see, where were we? Okay, so roasted Canadian A-horn bolt-on neck and fretboard. Now, the fretboard is quite nice. This is just kind of a shot towards the nut here. You can even see there's already some flames. There's a good grain going on. There's like this cool little dark spot right here, which is light in from a different angle. Nice, about 50 different flames here in the first fret. And then here is kind of from like the 11th fret on. It's nice and clean looking. Here's a back shot of it. This is almost Ernie Ball Music Man looking right here. Just the whole neck is just sick with flame. It's also got lots of cool little characteristic knots and stuff in it. And I'm a big fan of knots in especially flame maple. I think it looks really cool. And I know when I play it, I'm gonna look down. I'm gonna be inspired just to have my hands on that wood, if you know what I'm saying. Let's see, here's another back shot of it. Yeah, see, it's all freckled and dimpled and stuff. I mean, I'm just kidding, it's not dimpled, but yeah, it's just color variation. So yeah, it's got a soft V-neck. I'm not too terribly familiar with the different neck shapes. I don't really care because I can usually get accustomed to anything. I've got a shit ton of guitars, so I'm sure they're all slightly different. If it is V, it's very, very soft. I don't really feel a V. If I had to guess, I'd probably say it's like a C maybe, but it says V, so I guess we got to go with what it says, right? It's got 22 medium jumbo stainless steel frets, and they are well dressed. There is not a single rough fret edge among it. It's just the craftsmanship on this instrument is fantastic. It's got a Graphtec nut, which is nice, and it doesn't have that shitty little retainer bar that my last Harley Benton had that just kind of went across right here. It does have this really cool kind of roller string tree, and it seems to be very functional, and it makes it look really clean. 648 millimeter scale. I'm not sure what that is, but it's probably standard Strat scale. 42 millimeter nut width. Got the Graphtec nut. Matched headstock with paw mark. So Henning has a little Yorkie. I think he's got other dogs too, but this looks like his little Yorkie signature, and that's kind of cool to me because I have a Yorkie as well. So it's nice to see him getting his dog involved. If I ever had a signature guitar, trust me, my dog would be involved in it. Let's see. So pickups wise, it comes with, where is it? Okay. Yeah. So these are both Roswell pickups. It comes with the humbucker and a P90. The P90 is an Alnico 5, and the humbucker is a HAF-B Alnico 5. So I guess that's the half, and that's the bridge pickup. I don't know what a half stands for. Comes with one volume control, which is push-push, that splits the humbucker. Comes with one tone control, which is push-push, that phase inverts the P90 when you're in the middle position, which because it's a three-way switch. So you got your neck, you got combined, and then you got bridge. When you're in the middle position, pushing on the tone control splits or inverts the phase, kind of gives it a little bit different of a feel. It's got chrome hardware, locking tuners, which are an absolute necessity for me nowadays, just because it makes things so much faster and easier with string changes. Hardtail bridge with string through body. As you can see, you got the ferrules on the back down here. And the hardtail bridge, I've never seen one just like this, but it seems to be quite functional. It's intonated really well at this point. It's got nice soft edges, so you're not going to stab your hand on it. It seems to have a decent amount of mass for sustain and whatnot. Let's see. Oh, I lost it. Where are we? Shit, there's all my other guitars. Fuck. Oh, here we go. HP-42. Okay. Okay, let's see here. So now, locking tuners, hardtail bridge, standard string. Okay, so it comes with 10 to 46 strings, 10 to 46 Diodario EXL 110s strung up with it. It also comes with an extra set of M Steel 10 to 46, and he also included 3 CDs. So this picture right here, actually, let's just stop now. If you don't, that's basically all I have to say about the guitar. It's a phenomenal guitar. I'm sure it's going to kill. It's going to be my main for quite some time, because of the sentimental value, which I will now go into. So if you don't care about that, then stop watching the video and move right along. Okay, now on to the sentimental story that I have. So this guitar, when I opened it, this is what I saw. It's got this album right here, it's got this other album, and then there's a third CD in here. Well, this one right here, I was a little bit puzzled when I opened the case and saw this, because this album was one of my favorite albums when it first came out in like 2003, 2004-ish. I've had this on repeat for so many goddamn months. Memorized all the words to all the songs. It just became a part of who I am. It's called Frameshift, or it's by a band called Frameshift, album called Unweaving the Rainbow. It's about like Darwin's writing. No, I'm sorry, not Darwin's writing. Richard Dawkins has several books, and Unweaving the Rainbow, it basically says that just because you know how a rainbow works, it doesn't make it any less beautiful. And the whole album is about the beauty and the majesty of life and evolution, and just how fantastic and how fantastical it all is, and just the odds of any one of us being here, and genetics and predators and prey, and the slow climb of evolution, which Dawkins has termed as climbing Mount Improbable. It's an absolute fantastic album, and it has completely influenced the way that I think about life and the way I think about anything. And it's kind of what started getting me into science writing and atheism and all that stuff. And as some of you may recognize this right here, this is the symbol for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now, Douglas Adams is a British writer, and Richard Dawkins, as well as many of the other atheists, absolutely adored Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Douglas Adams, because Douglas Adams truly cared about science. He cared about humanity. He cared about progression and consciousness and all this stuff. He was a brilliant writer and well deserved in his acclaim. So I think it's really cool that Henning decided to put this on here. Anyway, back to frame shift. So I wondered why this was in the case. Why was there a goddamn frame shift album in the case? Now, I remember a couple months ago he recorded some frame shift stuff to like demo some new guitar that he was checking out. Maybe it might have even been one of these guitars. And I commented on it, so I wondered if maybe he remembered me commenting on it and decided to throw it in. Well, that didn't seem too likely, so I decided to pick up the guitar and I looked on the back of it. And sure as shit, probably can't see it here, but right under James LaBrie's name is Henning Pauly. I nearly shit my pants, because that means that Henning Pauly recorded guitar on this album. Just this random little weird German dude that I've been following on YouTube for just a couple years now was actually the guitarist on an album that changed my life. Literally changed my life and changed my way of thinking, changed who I was as a person. So, but not only did I just see him on YouTube, I've interacted with him. He's my friend on Facebook. I've chatted with him. And so I decided to hit him up. I was like, hey man, I saw you put this frame shift here. I did not know you played on this album. That's excellent. So it gets even better. Turns out he is frame shift. That is his project, his baby. He is frame shift. I like I said, I nearly shit my pants, because after, almost 15 years later, this album that changed my life, I'm regularly interacting with the dude that made it. I'm not real good at conveying how powerful that was, but it was basically like being starstruck in retrospect. It's very hard to explain, but yeah, it blew my mind. So needless to say, this guitar now is in my pantheon of guitars that will probably never leave my cold dead hands, because I too am a huge fan of Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens and Douglas Adams, and I just love having the symbol on the 12th fret here. I don't know if it's going to remain on the production line of this guitar, but if it does, then that's awesome. But if it doesn't, then either way, I have one. It's a great guitar. I hope you get your hands on one, and I hope the story of how I basically met one of my heroes without even realizing it has entertained you slightly, because it has entertained me, and it's basically all I've been able to think about for the last 2 days since I opened this guitar yesterday. So yeah, it's a good guitar. It's a great album. Cool dude. Check out his videos. He always gives the guys a bunch of shit when when he's checking out their guitars at Music Meese and NAMM and all the different shows that he attends. So a channel well worth watching, especially if you're into gear, especially if you're into great songs and good guitar playing. He often ends his videos with these really cool original compositions, much like Josh Scott from JHS Pedals. So I cannot recommend this guitar anymore, and I cannot recommend Mr. Pauly anymore. Definitely check this stuff out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the day.